favorite funny girl, comedian Judge Miles, and you already know that when the judge is in, the verdict is out. Today we have another wonderful episode of The Verdict. I have here today Coach Dell, and we're going to talk about some explosive topics, including why men cheat, the secrets to marriage, and then we're going to really get into the depths of who Coach Dell is. He has a story that's phenomenal as he is an award-winning author. But before we get into anything, I first want to give you guys a PSA. The Verdict podcast is for a mature audience only. If you are not 18 years or older, you need to exit stage left. There will be profanity and sometimes explicit content. Anything that the judge says or does while here on the Verdict podcast has nothing to do with any other organizations or businesses that she is a part of. We will not be bullied. We are not homophobic, but we will speak our truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. So, Coach Dale, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the
All
opportunity.
right. Yay! So welcome to the Verdict Podcast.
Thank
I
you.
want to know you as a person. I want to know what qualifies you to be Coach Dale. Why should my jurors listen to anything that you have to say? Let me know.
Well, I think I exemplify walk the walk and talking the talk. So, been there, done that. Unfortunately, raised in Detroit, not optimal conditions. No father present. Mother had her issues, addict and severe mental illness, and she took uh, a lot of her issues out on me. Unfortunately, so with that said, I caught a lot. I caught a lot of abuse, unfortunately, and it led to me making some very poor decisions as a child. Basically, left, trying to find that familiar type of feeling. Left the home because I wasn't getting the love there. Thought it was in the street. Unfortunately, I fell into the gang life, and that led to 20 years of incarceration.
Okay. And so I can only assume that after 20 years of incarceration, you coming out, you wanted to change your life. So what does that look like?
But to tell you the truth, the change actually began there. I knew who I was. I always knew I was a good person. I just didn't have right people around me. I didn't.
Okay.
I always listened to I had a strong conscience, a strong spiritual conscience, but no one to foster that. So prior to getting out, I was actually doing helping guys in their right grievances, really advocating. And the system didn't like that, so they transferred me to several prisons. But getting out, I knew I had a book in me as well. But I knew that it would not be relevant had I wrote it while I was there. That would have been
Okay.
a prison book. I wanted to get some experience. I wanted to live a little bit of life before I wrote the book, and so that's how the book came about.
Okay, awesome. So before we get into the next transition, we do have some jurors that have came on. Thank you guys so much. They say, can you give me some advice for school? Can you please be a little bit more specific? And we'll make sure to answer your questions down in the comment section. We will make sure to touch on it because, as you guys know, I am a doctoral student right now. I will be graduating next year with my doctoral degree. I have a master's. And so I can definitely give you some information about school, but I need you to be specific. Now, back to you, Coach Dale. You have this book. What is your book about? What's the name of the book? Where can you find the book?
Wow. Well, this is Up from Ashes: The Streets, Prison, and Redemption. Powerful book. Actually, an award-winning book. I won some money, off the book. So it's on Amazon. Just all you have to do is, search Lardell Spratt, LARDELLSPRATT on Amazon. Both books will come up. This is When the Boy Who Never Won Wins It All, which is a children's book that I just had the opportunity to read at several elementaries because
Okay.
I felt that it was more children who experienced what I did, maybe not to the level, but they don't know what to say. They don't know if someone can identify. So I said, let me give them some encouragement. So, yep, Amazon, LARDELLSPRATT, Lardell Spratt.
Great. And we're going to make sure to put all of your information down in the chat once this is over. They're going to be able to click on it, find your book, so on and so forth. So, really
Thank you.
quickly, tell me what your book is about and how does it relate to you and society before we get into the meat and potatoes of cheating and the secrets of marriage.
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, it was tough for me once I got out. So I've been
Okay.
home 19 years now. Well, it'll be 20 years. I came home Valentine's Day '06. So next Valentine's Day will be 20 years. I've been married 19 years. And so when I first came home, so to speak, because I was homeless when I came home, but because my mother still was not doing well, and so it is what it is. But I knew that I had to create a life, and so the book really is a kind of a blueprint for an individual who suffered trauma, who grew up um, around wolves like I did, but think that there's no path for them. I needed to create this book not only to assist someone, but to heal me. So what I
Okay.
found as a writer now, anything I write, well, like I write poetry, anything I write, it's a therapeutic process for me, but the goal is to help someone else. So that's how the book came about.
Okay. And then what is the book about a little bit? Did you tell us?
Oh yeah, my life, my transition from prison. Well, actually, living with my abusive mother, which was domestic violence. So living with my abusive mother, who tried to hang me. She tried to shoot me. I was always a you're no good motherfucker, nigga. You'll never be shit. And so so that I had to survive the neighborhood I was from. I grew up on the number streets, West Side Detroit. Unfortunately, tough environment. And then going transition into prison. That how that looked. How I survived penitentiary, right? And
Okay.
then getting out and acclimating to a whole new world. Really, a world that I didn't know because I left as a child. So
Okay.
and then up to this point now, uh, being a business owner and a social worker and giving back and a community activist.
I love that, Coach Dale. Now, what qualifies you to be a coach? Today, we're going to be giving out some gems to people who may
Yes,
be
sir.
suffering in their relationship and they may want to know, why should I listen to him? I want to know what qualifies you to be a judge. I'm sorry, to be a coach. I'm the judge.
Yeah, you the judge. You're definitely the judge. I think I quantify the statement walk it like you talk it. I think you can easily have an individual come in with a whole bunch of plaques on the wall, but when you ask them about the practical application of what they're saying or what they're trying to impart, they're lost. Here I am. I'm an individual who's been through the ringer, through the fire, so to speak, and here I stand. And I'm a
Yes.
faith man. I'm a faith man, strong.
Yes. So you have the experience. Your
Yes, ma'am.
coaching is based off of experience. So
Yes, ma'am.
experience is the best teacher. So now I want to ask you, how long have you been married?
19 years. I came home Valentine's Day '06. I just so happened met my wife because it was just a happenstance thing. Met my wife, or the lady who will become my wife, the queen who will become my wife, and somehow, so I met her. I came home Valentine's Day '06. I met my wife about March or April. I told her that I was feeling her, and I asked her about June, July to marry me. She said, it's in my book. She said, you don't, she said, huh? I said, I would like for you to marry me. She said, you don't know me. I said, well, I don't fully know myself. I said, but you believe in God. She said, yeah. I said, you don't believe in going out, hanging out all the time at night, stuff like that. She said, no. I said, me neither. I said, you don't do drugs or drink. She said, no. I said, me either. I said, everything else we can learn. That's my baseline. Those three things. Look, you meet the baseline. So you will never meet someone that you know fully. If you wait to try to wait to before you marry someone because you know them fully, oh, you'll be waiting a long time. So that
I
was it.
love that. I love that story. So let me ask you, through this 19 years, when people see people that have been married and have longevity, we always wonder, well, shit, was it some things that went on in that relationship? Or was it
Right.
just perfect? Was it just flowers and candy?
Oh,
And my question to you is, how was that 19 years? Was it rocky ever?
Man, what? Yeah. Well, I don't know if you like believe in or follow astrology, but I am a Scorpio Libra, October 23rd. So I'm Scorpio Libra. I mean, I got some crazy tendencies, but I'm solid. I am steadfast and I'm reliable. My wife is a Taurus. She's stubborn, right? So it was our thing was never about money. It was never about infidelity.
Okay.
It was definitely, I'm all right, we going this way. No, I want to go this way. All right, well, I'm gonna put my foot down. So it was one of those things. Two ships, two big strong ships traveling in the same ocean, and both of them wanted that their way, And so now, of course, it seems like there's women who once you have that ring on and you're a man and then I take care of myself. I'm almost 60, but I know I ain't no handsome dude, but I don't look like it. So definitely there's women in my wife's church, there's women if that was at my jobs, definitely try to apply pressure. But my thing and as a man, no question, I love my wife dearly. Have that crossed my mind? I mean, I'm a man, but it
Absolutely.
ultimately, what won out was my integrity, right? What won out was I believe that if you make a contract, you stick to it. That's what helped me survive in the street before I went to penitentiary.
You know what? So in 19 years, what I heard you say was you've never cheated. However, you have had temptation. And
Of
it
course.
has that thought just because you're a man. Part of being a man, it's not our nature. What people don't understand, it's not a man's nature to be monogamous. Yes, they can do it. But the real true nature of them in any species is to have multiple women, right? To procreate. And so when you guys make that natural decision to say, I'm not going to cheat, I'm going to just focus on you, I'm going to have only eyes for you, it can be tough. But you saying that you did manage to do it for 19 years. Is that correct? Order in the court.
Yeah, yo, that's correct. And I'm gonna tell you, in my book, because I put the truth out there. So my wife unfortunately had a really bad car accident, and
Okay.
she had to have a procedure. She had a full hysterectomy,
Okay.
and for a woman. That changes a lot because what I found out, what I learned is that for women, the sexual desire starts mental. It's deeper. For us, you rub us the wrong way. Whoop, we ready, right? Rudimentary. I mean, straight. But for women, it takes some wine and some dine and some talking, some smoothing. And when you feel as though your body is not whole, that can impact. So it was to a point where it was some tension, and I had to talk to her pastor. Michael G. Cunningham, I'll never forget. And he played a significant part in my life first. When I started my first business, gave me my opportunities. But this one time, when I talked to him the first time about this serious matter, I said, my wife, she ain't performing like she used to when I first, and man, listen, and he said, listen, brother Dale. He said, I'm gonna tell you something. He said, your wife matured, because my wife is older than me.
Okay.
He said, your wife matured naturally out here, couple of relationships, she matured sexually, naturally. He said, you was retarded. You was held back because you was in prison from the age of 17 up into your 30s, right? He said so you was held back. And I had to look at that. I was like, wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I
That's
said,
okay.
wow. Yeah, I said, wow, man, he's 100% right. That's not on her. That's not something that she had something to do with. So I realized in my mind that at that point, I started asking myself, what am I with her for? What does she bring to the table? Is it sex or is it much more? And when I had that deep spiritual conversation with my real conversation with myself, I realized that yeah, she brings so much more. Every
Yeah.
woman has a vagina, some breasts, and a booty. But
Right.
it's the spiritual and mental person that surrounds those physical attributes that's the most important. And so that was my decision from that point on.
And you know what? I can relate to that because a lot of times, especially in this society, people think that sex is everything. Don't get me wrong. Sex is important. You want
Right,
to have that chemistry. But when
right.
you take an oath with someone, what people don't understand, when you have sex with someone the first time, biblically, that's your wife, that's your husband,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
when you take that oath with someone, you're supposed to take that oath regardless of what happens to them. People are not going to always have their looks. People are not going to always be able to ride and suck it and do all these things that they used to do. People knees go out. I mean, people lose their hair. And so at the end of the day, what else do you guys have? Do you truly have agave love?
Mm,
Or this superficial love? And you know, I went through a situation like that. I was with someone in my previous years for 4 years, and he was not able to perform. We were not able to have sex, but we had something more than that. We had a great friendship. He
that's
was a
right.
great person, and I
Right.
stayed with him for 4 years without any infidelity. And when I talk to my family and I talk to my friends, they would say to me like, "Girl, I don't know how you can do that." And I'm like, "This man has 80%. So what that he doesn't have 20%?" Now, don't get me wrong, my flesh tried to take over me, but because he was so good to me, I never wanted to hurt him. And that really showed me who I was as a person because I did
Right.
not allow sex to dictate my love or the way that I acted or my integrity. And I realized that, you know what? Sex is not everything. Yes, it's great. It makes you feel good. You want to connect with your partner. But in an event that your partner cannot perform, is that all you see them as?
Yeah. Amen. Amen. I'm gonna give you another example. I had a really bad motorcycle accident on 8 Mile and Hoover, man. The guy just tore me up. I didn't even know where I was. When they was cutting my clothes off, I didn't know nothing. So I had to have 4 spine surgeries. You would never know. You would never know it, but I had to have 4 spine
God
surgeries.
is
Two,
good.
man, what? 2 neck, 2 lower spine. So with that, they was giving me this drug called gabapentin, which is a nerve pain, nerve drug that eases the nerve pain.
Okay.
But what they didn't tell me was that that's one of the drugs that really cuts down the libido. And now I'm getting older, so it really. So we was in the midst of it, and we was feeling each other, and all of a sudden, in the middle of construction, listen, that boy went whoop. I said, "What in the what?" Man, listen, my wife, she didn't embarrass me. She didn't. What's wrong with you? She was like, "Oh, it's okay, babe." She said it
Yeah.
happens sometimes. And that made me, though I still kind of curled up, like, what's wrong? She made me feel through that whole process. And it took a while. But that whole process, she made me feel like the man still. Like I'm the man, man. It's not
As
about
he should.
that. So man, I'm telling you, I've learned so much being with Sister Nita that it's just amazing. And so and you get to the point where you'll say, like you said, if just imagine she heard that or found out that I was unfaithful, and she just stood in front of me saying, "Why?" That would crush me because I
Yeah.
care, because my heart, I would crumble because she
Yeah.
said, "Why?" Because she's been so good to me, so
You know
honest.
what? Coach Dale, we're living in a society where men and women, they're so quick to run off. Nobody wants to do the work,
Man,
right? But
man.
that last relationship prepared me for the love of my life. Right now, I am married. I never been in love. I love that last person, but I'm in love with this person. But I'm so happy that I had that experience because it showed me that I was a true humanitarian. And it also showed me
Ooh,
that I was a great woman because through those 4 years, now imagine, at first I started off curious, right? I was curious, like, well, damn, we got to go to the doctor. We went to well, I think it's called like a
urologist.
urologist.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they checked him, they checked his blood, they checked all these things. And what they end up finding out, they said, nothing is wrong with you. They asked him, they said, do you look at a lot of porn? He was a little shocked. He was like, yeah, I do. And they were like,
Wow.
that's your issue. You are watching way too much porn. And what you're seeing is not what your woman, them people and how they look, it's not what your woman is, you know.
Wow.
And so he was a bit embarrassed, but I never made him feel any type of way. I always made him still feel like a man. I would tell him it's okay. You know, there's other things that we can do to be intimate. I also went out and I got a sex coach that taught us how to do you know, those type of
Right.
things that keep us still close. We bonded in other ways. We watched our favorite movies together. We watched you know, we made
Right.
food together, whatever the case may be, because I
Right.
wasn't willing to give up on him because of that situation. But it
Mm-hmm.
was a tough situation. Let's be clear. It was a very tough situation. But at no point did I say, oh, motherfucker, you can't get up. Da, da, da. That's not going to help the situation. And I
No,
didn't leave. And
not
so
all.
many women would have been so quick to leave just because they're not able to perform. But how many women have been with men who can perform and dog you out, can perform and don't bring home the bacon, can perform and you don't know where your man at night? I knew where he was every single night. You know what I'm saying?
Every day and every night.
So it was a blessing and a curse because I'm like, shit, he can't get up and shit, it's great, you know? So I say that to say, we as people have to realize what are we willing to deal with. And when you have somebody great in your life, you have to understand that they're not going to be perfect. It's still going to be highs and lows regardless, because I would have never expected in a million years that I would come into contact with it. I never knew how to deal with it, and it was tough, but I did it, right? But
Mhm.
this goes to let me know that I don't have to cheat. When I'm locked in with somebody, I'm locked in. Now, my question to you is, but have you ever cheated?
I've only been married once. No, now
Coach
in
Dell,
pre,
never
in
in
pre,
your life.
never. But you know, before I
Wow.
got in, no, this is my first relationship. You know, like I say, Nita's my first and my first adult relationship. You know, I got locked up at 17, 1987. So the young girls that I was with at
I
that
wasn't
time,
even born. I was born in 88. God damn it.
that's funny.
Wow.
But look, yeah, so the young girls that I was with, all I had to do was buy them a starter jacket or some Nikes or some Adidas shell toes. I had the chance to do what I wanted to do. So it was all physical. It was about me. They see me getting a little money. They wanted to be with me because of that. I wanted a little nookie. Boom. I go to prison, and you gotta understand, I had misconceptions. Oh man, I had misconceptions of what my woman was gonna look like. I had misconceptions that she would be in the kitchen and cooking all day, and I bang her out every night, and then she'll cook, and all these old heads telling young dudes, unfortunately, young influential type dudes like myself, easy to misguide, telling us all these misnomers about relationships and about what it's about, and that we the king and the woman got to listen to all this crap. And so when I came home and I got with Nita, man, I realized, oh yeah, that was a whole bunch of crap. See, when you were the real woman and you a man boy, because I was still a man boy emotionally. Man, she taught me a whole bunch. Well, I'm telling you, I realized, I said, oh, okay, this is what a real relationship is. This is what, you're not going, it ain't about just she and there cooking and you the boss and this. No, man, this is a partnership. So over this 19 years, believe it or not, Sister Nita has taught me what it is to be a husband. She taught me what it is to be an emotionally sound man. Like, for example, her ex is a chef, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so he been on Fox 2 and all this. So I see him before her grandma passed. Her family always they clan minded. They always have parties and barbecue and get together and just have fun. So I wasn't used to that with my family. That I didn't see that, right? So I'm like, wow. And then I see this dude come back, walking back to the backyard. I'm like, what is he doing? What is he doing? Because in my family, if I quit you, you don't come around no more, right? That's the
And my
toxic.
family too.
Yeah, the toxicity. So you
See,
don't come around. If I quit you, you ain't come around. So he was coming back there, he hugged the grandmother and gave that to her uncles. He ain't say nothing to Nita, but I'm like, why is he here? Now instantly, insecurity. She said because he loved just because we're not together. He loved my family love him. That's how it go. That's natural. And I'm like, I learned so much that
An
I don't.
uncomfortable feeling because I go through that same thing right now. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling, but you're right. Just because they break up don't mean that that person is not still a part of the family. And
Part of the
instantly, because
family.
you come from toxicity and that's all you've never seen parents coexist and
Come on,
ex-boyfriends and
come on,
ex-women.
come
Instantly,
on,
you like something is fucking wrong. But
come
I
on,
have matured in this relationship because he had a past before me, and things don't just stop because of me.
come
However,
on.
and then he has children. However, as long as the respect level is there,
The
as long as
respect.
he's doing what he's supposed to do as my man to make me feel secure, then we're able to exist. But I'm gonna tell you something. I felt the same way you felt. What the fuck?
What? What's going on?
But we're growing, and
Yeah, we grown.
I love the development, and I love the growth. I love to see it in myself and other people because just like you, we didn't always have a foundation. Our parents probably didn't have it. Their parents probably didn't have it. So who the fuck is teaching us? We're learning by trial and error. I've learned so many things through my husband. But I'm gonna tell you something. Over in this household, I do see the man as the king. The man to me is the king. He is the leader. He is the head, and I treat him as such. And I don't mind him being, the leader and me submitting. I don't mind me listening. Yeah, this is a partnership, but the partnership is 60-40. He's 60 and I'm 40. And I'm okay with that because that's what the man is supposed to do. He's supposed to lead, he's supposed to protect, and he can't do that if I'm trying to be the man, right?
Now I'm gonna say this. I 100%. My wife, I have the same. She recognized me as the king, the whole nine. But I realized too. I think the only time it becomes the issue when like I say, I'm a Scorpio Libra. I can get beside myself a little bit sometimes.
Okay, well
I
then
ain't
she
gonna lie
brings
to
you back
you.
in. Okay, she got to bring you back in.
There you go.
Okay.
Listen, we did one day. We was laying in the bed, and she was like, when you do this, it just really ticks me off. And I was like, okay. I said, let's do this. Let's write a list. Here's your pen and paper. I got a pen and paper. We're gonna write down the things we don't like about each other's character. So she said,
Okay.
okay. She said, you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. Man, I got maybe 3 good things that I thought was solid. But I'm saying to myself, she can't have no more than 2. Man, this woman had about 8 things. I see, and I had to own up to it. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So, we need that person also who I swear, I'm telling you, Judge, when I say I haven't used the word friend I'm almost 60. I'll be 57 years old next month, October 23rd. I haven't used the word friend and I don't know how long. But when it comes to my wife, that's my friend, my
Yeah.
confidant. She is definitely not a yes person. She gonna let me
No.
know. But when it's fired up, she gonna be like, let's go.
Let's go.
So that's what you need. That one person. That's all you need.
Yeah, and like I said, I identify with that because one thing about it is I'm no yes girl, right? I'm gonna listen, but when things don't sound right to me, I'm gonna let you know because
Yeah.
I'm just that's who I am. I'm a strong black woman, but I
Yeah.
do put in that strong black woman as well too because
Yeah.
now I have
Yeah.
a strong black man and
Yeah.
I allow him to lead me. But make no mistake, if he getting out of line, I will talk to him. It's gonna be in a nice voice though, it's gonna be in a nice
Mhm.
voice. I'm gonna have my soft girl femininity so that he can understand the message, right?
There you
But I
go.
want to get into some statistics, Coach Dell.
That's funny.
The statistics say U.S. research says that 25% of men cheat compared to the 13% of women. Now, even though you've never cheated and you've been with your wife for 19 years and this is your first relationship, you still a man, right? So
Mhm.
I know you can identify even with the people that may be around you. Why do you think men cheat? Now, I'm not talking about cheating on a woman that ain't shit. Y'all both playing games. I'm not
Right,
talking
right.
about that type of woman. I'm talking about a woman like Nita, right? Why, if a man get a woman like Nita, your wife, who does what she's supposed to do, upholds her king, takes care of the household, she's in her feminine state, she's nurturing, she cooks, she giving you that neck, she giving you that back. Why is it that men still cheat? Has any of your friends told you?
Yeah, yeah, and they're amazed at me. So that's why they love for me to be around. It's funny how people want someone around who doesn't do what they do to convict themselves, but they still not willing to give up what they're doing. So yeah, I got several friends. Like, well, I don't say friends, but I know several brothers who I associate with and do business with that got great sisters, great women. Um, and that's not my business. I'll never say anything. But the thing is, what I've noticed is greed. You know, feeling the need to conquer, or fill a void, some type of boyhood, a fantasy void in themselves, right? You have to get to a certain, and most of them haven't been through the fire like I have.
Okay.
I noticed with me, like I told you, I had an idea of what the woman would look like. That I was gonna get with when I got out, right? I had all these brilliant ideas. One thing that helped me was that I was able to get rid of all of that. A lot of times, men and women, they had this preconceived notion of what their husband or wife is going to look like, what they're going to be built like and shaped like, right? And all that crap. You have to let all of that go and let Yahweh or God lead that person and know when that person has been led to you, right? And that they're for you. But you also have to have a level of, what is the word? You have to just be content.
Yeah.
Content in yourself first. A lot of people, like I heard guys say, "Well, man, she gonna make me host it. Man, I get her. She gonna round my world off this and that." And I tell them, I say, "Bro, it won't work." What you mean? What you mean, Coach? It ain't gonna work. Because all she gotta do, she gonna come and give me the parts I'm missing. Listen, my wife, I love her to life. 19 years, but neither can't save me. I can't save her. We
Yes.
complement each other, right?
Yes.
She had already been through therapy and all that stuff before she met me. I went start going to therapy before the lack that I had that I finally realized. And now we know we complement each other. When you had these men feeling like, oh yeah, I got this one, and they still thinking from a boyhood point of view. They're not truly content. They look like they're content, maybe
Yeah.
have a bunch of toys and talk good game, but they still boys at heart. They have not matured mentally and soulfully. So that's what I think it is. And they don't realize, man. He will find himself a good wife, finds his salvation, finds his happiness. And I know a lot of men, they got some great women, man. And when they blow that, they're gonna lose the little bit of status they think they had.
Yeah, so my husband, he has a book out right now called Why She Left You by
Oh,
Kyrie and Beckham. And he talks about that. He talks about
wow.
why men look up and they've had a quality woman, quality, valuable woman, and they look up and she didn't walk out the door. And why did she walk out the door? The signs, the things that she's talked to you about, what you needed to do for yourself. A lot of times it has nothing to do with the woman. It has everything to do with how the man feel, what the man is going through, sometimes his insecurities. But let me tell you, research said that there's multiple reasons why men cheat. I'm going to give you about 10 reasons why men cheat, and then we're going to talk
Wow,
about
is that many?
it's that many. So, number one, lack of emotional fulfillment. They may feel underappreciated, lonely, or disconnected from their marriage. And I know you've had conversations, we ain't got to say who they is, but with your boys where they just feel like, man, we growing apart. You know, the things we just different. I like to do this and do that. She want to be in the house all the time. And sometimes people don't know how to come together and say, listen, we can agree to disagree. We don't have to divorce, right? Number two, sexual dissatisfaction. We already talked about that. People will divorce your ass in a minute because you're not feeling a hole or because you ain't wet. And that's just the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Number three, desire for variety. Now, for me, I've seen this for a lot of men. Some men seek novelty, excitement. They need to be thrilled. Their woman is boring to them now. It's become, monogamous, monotony, and now they just want something different. They want a different woman. Opportunity and temptation, being in environments like work, travel, or social media. This social media era, if
Man,
you're not strong, Coach Dell, your woman or your husband is gone.
terrible, terrible.
Revenge or resentment. Some relationships have been together so long, they have done so much harm and hurt to one another and still stayed that they're just at the point of no return. And they're like, you say fuck me, I say fuck you, but we still got these bills, so we still gonna keep going.
And God forbid they got children.
And God forbid they got children. Then you got midlife crisis. A lot of times, men, in order to cope with their aging or their stress or a sense of loss of youth, they go out and get them a nice little young tenderoni because it's always a nice tenderoni graduating from college with a nice little perky set of tits.
Mhm. And a
Lack of
whole set of problems.
and a whole set of problems like that you don't want them problems. You say you
No,
60
don't.
years old. You ain't got time for that shit, Coach Dale.
No, don't.
All right. Lack of commitment. For some marriages, it's more about convenience and appearance than genuine devotion. Right? So she got her shit going on, you got your shit going on, they look good together, but they ain't really devoted. They really don't even like each other. I've seen this a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen this a lot. I don't know if you watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Do you ever watch those things? Well,
No.
there's a couple on there that's been together for a long time, and they're together because they have so many endeavors that's going on.
Okay.
They've been together for a long time. They look good together, but there's
Right.
no true emotion. He keeps having
Right.
kids on her, so on and so forth. But just to say we've been together for 30 plus years, you can say that.
Convenience. Convenience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? And that's
Go ahead.
to touch on that for a sec. Now I will say my grandfather, dirty. Let me say, God rest his soul. I'm gonna say that. But my grandfather was not a nice man. He had 13 children by my grandmother. He got my grandmother in Mississippi, and she was a child. And back then they really did. So it was pedophilia. You know what I'm saying? He got her as a child, knocked her up with all these children. And so they stayed together, even though he was beating her, even to the point where my grandmother told me, Dale, would you come over here and spend the night on the couch? Because I don't want your papa coming here and he drunk and he started hitting on me. And she was on the oxygen tank. I was like, what? Yeah, I'm coming over to stay there. So, and they stayed all those years because of convenience, because we just been here so long. And yeah, that's that. So I know what you mean. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible, but it's happening all the time. And the last two is addiction. Some men are just addicted to sex. They have a sex demon on them. That lustful demon, that is real. Kirk Franklin talks about that, and so many other Christian-based people talk about having that sex addiction on them. And lastly, peer influence and cultural norms. It says in some circles, cheating is normalized. So, say for instance, like if you was around a whole bunch of guys who cheat, like you're a strong man, it comes off as if no matter what they doing, I can still be around them. I ain't got
Oh,
shit to do with that. But
yeah.
some men fold, Coach Dale. Some men around it and all that temptation, they can't. They
No,
end up
no
caving.
doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And that's why most dudes don't want me around because I'm not I'm very friendly. I'm very open and spiritual, and I love my brothers, but they don't want me around because they know I just don't. I'm a kind of cut from a different. I'm cut from a cloth of you got my back, I got yours. As long as you don't cross me, right? So so that goes in my marriage. My wife don't cross me. She got a, like the song say, a player for life. She got a soldier on her team, and that's just the bottom line. But I got family members that cross me. You're gone. Goodbye. I have no problem telling the person goodbye. I won't never see them again. So no, it's my thing is, I don't know, man. It's a different time. I got a granddaughter right now, 22, beautiful, and I really, I don't know. I tell her, I said, you in a relationship yet? She said, no. She work in a plant, independent, but she's like, Granddad,
You know, the
these
plant
guys.
ain't nowhere for no woman. A woman
But
don't
she,
need to
hold
be
on,
working
look,
at no plant, child.
she holds hers down. My granddaughter is like me. She holds it down. But here's the thing. I said, you in a relationship yet? She said, Granddad, these dudes, they just not. She said, I'm waiting. She said, these dudes just they ain't nothing, or they carrying purses, and
Yeah.
that shit, yeah.
She not lying. And what I meant by that is if you're in a relationship. I worked for the plant for several years in
Oh,
corporate
yeah,
America.
yeah, yeah,
And you know, I
yeah,
had to do beat shifts and things like
yeah,
that. And it get a little shaky. You know, your man
yeah,
gotta do
yeah,
beat shift, whatever the case may be. And it's just not no place for no woman to be because it's a
yeah,
male dominated place. If you trying to avoid temptation, well, it's temptation every goddamn way. And don't
yeah,
be no beautiful woman. It's coming to you constantly. So you got to
yeah,
be wrapped up and tangled up in God and in your relationship in order to avoid caving in. It's
yeah,
tough,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. No doubt about it. No question. I get it. I get it.
So my question to you is now that we've talked about all of the different reasons why men may cheat, and did one stick out more than the other?
I think for me, out of that list I heard, I think the guys more so um just want quote unquote variety. But they don't have no steadfastness though to their woman. I don't think they have steadfastness really to anything. I think they don't commit themselves fully to anything. But even with, I think every one of those, the sex thing, all that, it stems from what they went through as a child. Um,
Mhm.
so because my mother, the person that was supposed to nurture me, she abused me. And I must say this, I don't want people to think that she was just terrible. My grandfather had 13 children. Four of his daughters he molested, raped, and
Wow.
the whole nine, dogged them out. My mother was one. My
Okay.
mother and my other three aunts, who he did it, all of them died the same way. Blood, diabetes, losing their legs, mental health issues, was on mental health medications, hospitalized. So that's what I'm saying. So I got it because my brother had a different father than me. I look like my grandfather. My brother didn't. He was high yellow. So what you experience as a child, especially boy children, men or boys, young men or boys, from a mother who have issues, trauma issues that she bring into that dynamic of that relationship with her son, that's going to manifest in a whole bunch of crazy ways. I
Yeah.
am fortunate. I am blessed and I'm fortunate. That's why I say my book is so heavy because I'm
Let me
blessed
see
and
your book
fortunate.
one more time. Show your book one more time. And
The
what's the
only
name
one
of
with
it?
that fiery phoenix on there, up from ashes, the streets, prison, and redemption.
Yes.
That I'm fortunate, and I'm gonna say this. I think a lot of times it's a mission that Yahweh or God has for your life too. Because I didn't save myself, and a lot of things I can't explain.
Yeah.
I can't explain. I'm gonna tell you.
And it's not for you to explain. It was the
There you
most
go.
high. He did it.
There you go.
He did it. And thank
There you
God
go.
he did do it because even with you speaking, it seems like people would see prison as a bad thing, but from what you came from, it seemed like prison stopped you from doing a lot more things. It seemed like prison put a halt on things for you so that you could get your mind right, so that you can,
Ooh.
you know what I'm saying? So you can develop and change. Sometimes prison is a good choice for people who are starting off rough or have this curse on them or whatever the case may be. And it looked like it preserved
Oh,
you.
excuse me.
Let's talk about it. It looked like it preserved you. Now,
You
because
just
you are a coach, Dale,
mm,
I want you to talk about a little bit about what I just talked about, but also go into this. Because you are a coach, if a young man came to you today and he said, listen, I just got married, but the streets are still calling me. I can't give up that pussy. What would be
mm.
your advice to a young man to help him to stop cheating?
I would definitely ask him why didn't he come to me before he got married? Because now since he's married, he made a commitment, and he's still feeling that way. So you know, whoo, that's a tough one. I would try to explain to him, you made a commitment. You have another life that's in your in your atmosphere, in your world,
Yeah.
that it's not now, it's not about you, right? So you have to go. If you I ask him, is your goal to make this marriage work? Do you have that feeling? If he says yes, despite his carnal nature, then I'll begin to explain to him that that is simply a carnal nature. That's a contract that you can break. That's a contract. Carnal nature is going to do the things. You ride down 8 Mile, your senses, sight, touch, taste, smell, and sound, these things are supposed to be protectors of you, your physical, your soul, your spiritual. On this physical realm, all those senses are supposed to protect you. But if they're loose, if your soul is loose, then those things, when you see the lights flashing over the strip club, oh, I gotta go over there. Or you smell the weed from the dispensary. Oh, I gotta go. They got a sale. Or your senses are going to lead you into a bunch of bullshit. So
Yeah.
what I would ask him is, if your goal is to make this marriage work, despite your carnal faults, let's focus on breaking that contract with this carnal. Let's focus on becoming more in control. That might look like going to therapy. That might look like relationship counseling, because you don't want to lie to your wife. You already done it, but now you want to come clean, right? Because
Yeah.
she needs the opportunity to say, you know what? This ain't the person I married, and I want to move on. That's her right.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
her
that's her right.
prerogative.
Yeah. So that one, I would hope that a young man would hear about me or be in my area, or know a little bit about me, to say, let me talk to Coach before I get married, because that's a I can work with that better, because the young woman's heart ain't involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's why they call you coach, because that's some great advice. I did research on my own, and a lot of what you said lines up with exactly what the US based research says. So it says for men, it's possible for them to stop cheating, but here are the things that they have to do. First and foremost, they have to acknowledge and take responsibility. They have to
Mm.
admit to the problem and not blame everything on their partner. That's number
Man,
one. Would you agree?
man, for real, 100,000%.
The next thing it says that they have to do is they have to identify those triggers. What's causing you to cheat? Is it loneliness? Is it stress? Is it temptation, alcohol, opportunity, a lack of self control? They have to recognize the patterns that keep allowing them to do this act.
Yep,
Then it
yep,
says after you do that, then you have to cut off the temptations, like we were just talking about. You have to limit private interaction with people that you're attracted to. You
no
got to set
question.
boundaries at work, online, avoid situations. I'm gonna tell you something, Coach Dale. My husband is a very nice looking man. A lot of women like him, not only because of how he looks, but because of how he presents himself, right? They women love a strong, confident, masculine man. They may talk all of that shit, but femininity loves masculinity, right? And
Right.
then he's a man who's in leadership. And so at his job, wherever we go, women be throwing themselves at this man, right? And of
Yeah.
course, I'm like, okay, I see what y'all doing, because I don't want no man that nobody else wants. So I'm
Right.
okay with it,
Right.
right?
Right.
But he said something to me, because I asked him, I said, do you be tempted? You know, you are a man, you don't have to lie. Do you be tempted? And he said, not really, because it's not like I don't see women and I don't think that they pretty. And I don't have a problem with that, because he's a man. When a woman walks by with a fat ass, I look too, even though I'm not gay. You know what I'm saying? It's just natural. Her ass is fat. Of course he gonna look. He not staring her down, but of course he
Right.
gonna look.
Right.
He said, but I made a covenant with my eyes for you. And therefore, that means that I'm not trying to pay these people no attention. I don't put myself in these positions because I am a man. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he don't go to strip clubs. When I first met him, I was like,
Yep.
let's go to the strip club. Let's go to the strip club, because that's what's fun. That's what I was brought up with. I'm thinking that's what your man want. But a real man gonna tell you, what the fuck I want to go to a strip club
Yeah.
for? All I'm
Yeah.
gonna do is get hard and want to fuck. You want me to want to fuck them? Or you want me to want to fuck you?
Yeah. 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 Nita, I remember one time my birthday was maybe my, I don't know, 50th birthday or something. She was like, I said, yeah, these my cousins, they want to take me to the strip club. Oh, this
Your
Nita coming
phone
in.
went out. Somebody calling you. They hating on you. They hating
Oh
on you, Coach Dell.
no, it was Nita. I
Oh, okay.
tapped it right back. So, but no, she on my 50th, my cousin like, hey man, we gonna go to the strip club, this and that. So at first, I ain't gonna lie, I was so I didn't know how to handle that telling her. So she was in the kitchen. I was like, man, cousin talking about they want to take me to the strip club. Oh my 50. They crazy. She was like, she was cooked. She was like, oh, you gonna go? I'm like, huh? She's like, you gonna go? I was like, nah, I ain't going. She was like, you can go. I was like, trick, no good. Trick, no. But no, she was like, you can go. But I don't know. The environment. I'm gonna tell you, for me, I don't look down on no woman that has to do what she feels she has to do. That's not my. I don't judge. Like I'm a ordained minister as well. I started a fellowship of Yeshua ministry. So but one of my tenets is I don't look down on any sin because we're all susceptible to it because we're in this flesh.
Okay.
What I believe is though, and I don't talk about damnation and all this because of your sin. No, what I do is I continue to encourage you to build a relationship with God, the Creator, because like if you had oil in a glass and it was half full of oil, but you had a whole pitcher of fresh water, you start pouring into that glass. Guess what's going to happen?
What?
Eventually, the oil gonna come out, and the glass is gonna be full with fresh water. So
Okay.
I don't have to beat a person down with their sins and scare them with hellfire. I'm going to continue to encourage you to continue to build your relationship with your Creator.
Yeah.
As you think like that and build like that, the sins are gonna flush themselves out, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't look down on anyone that dances or do what they have to do. But for me, the environment, and it's just me. Maybe I'm chosen, but I just feel even when I drive past it, the environment it's a spirit on it that's kind of
It's
dark.
the spirit of lust. It's the spirit of
Yeah,
lust.
it feels dark.
It
Like it
feels nasty.
feels
It feels because the reality of it is, and the Bible says, because my husband also is an ordained pastor. He's been an ordained preacher for many years, and so I'm learning so many things. And so the Bible literally tells you that no man is supposed to be sitting with another woman that's not his wife. So to
right.
go into a strip club and to partake in those things, and you got a wife at home, quite naturally, it's not going to make sense because it's going to pull up some lustful spirits. They're naked. They have their breasts out. They have their ass out. As a man, we already talked about how it's going to be. You know, I think something's happening with your thing is giving me feedback.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I hear you
Yeah,
good.
it got like a little feedback now. Can you maybe turn it down a little bit?
Yep. The volume, yes I will.
And then maybe that might help.
How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
So I agree with what you're saying. I hope that it's not echoing the way it's echoing on my side
No, it's
when
not.
we
I am so sorry. I don't know because I know she was trying to text me, and
That's
I
okay.
was, yeah. No, I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. So we're gonna just get through this. So for somebody who needs some help, it says work on your self-esteem issues, like you said, counseling, therapy, decide what you need from your partner, avoid playing this forever, and just work on yourself. Now that we transition out of cheating, you've been married for 19 years. That's something to be, it's highly looked upon. I want to know for you, what are the secrets of marriage? I want to have longevity. There's so many people that want to have longevity. How can we get that, Coach Dell?
I'm gonna tell you. This is my humble opinion. First and foremost, you have to have that feeling of contentment. That prevents you from when the temptations come. Like I said, even women at my wife's church that love my wife because my wife is just lovable, but they'll try to side eye. Like one sister tried to come up and straighten my tie. And I'm like, oh, holy sister, thank you though. Or one sister like tie my apron in the back, brother Dale. No, why not? Because that's not my place, and I'm married. So contentment keeps you with that armor, and it's respectful, right? I'll always be respectful because I love womanhood. I cherish womanhood, and like your husband, with me, women gravitate to me. Now, not all the time sexual or like they want me, but any opportunities I've ever had has come from a woman, and it's 99.9% melanated women, right? I don't say black, but just for the sake of black women, right? My people. So I'm that type of. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it. Because like I say, I'm not a particularly handsome dude. I'm ruggedly handsome, but I have a personality, and I respect womanhood that much, right? Um, but yeah, I think that being content stops a lot of issues. Also, realizing that there's no perfect marriage. The minute I stop trying to compare, I'm looking at TV and looking at this show and thinking, well, why my wife don't talk to me like that? Or why don't she do this here?
Wait a minute. Go out and come back in.
Oh man. Okay.
Sorry, you guys. Something happened with his audio. We're going to get back to it. We got 7 more minutes. And I don't know if you guys are learning anything, but we are speaking gems right now. So he's going to come back in. He's going to tell you the secrets to marriage. Yes. And it sounds so much
Okay.
better. So get
I
these
am sorry.
It's okay.
All right. So yeah, contentment would be the top of my list because contentment takes you away from a whole bunch of possible nonsense. Being content with the partner that you have and the marriage that you've been blessed with. That's number one. Number
Okay.
two, number two would be I would suggest don't compare. Don't try to compare. The people down the street, they might talk, y'all might know them, and they might always, yeah, because we do this and we do that, and they trying to present. You don't know what's going on under their roof, right? You don't know what he doing or she doing. That ain't your business. But I'm saying, don't try to compare. Even TV marriages, don't compare. That's one of the worst things. One thing my wife used to do, she no longer does, that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. She would go, so I'm not Christian. She's Christian. I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. So that's why I started my fellowship. It's not religious, it's a spiritual one. But she'll come home and say what the pastor said about me not being there. And they used to, and so once we had the conversation about it, no other, hey, I come on first Sunday. I pay my respect, but this is my space. This is who I am, right? And so she respects that. And yeah, that's for me, and the biggest one is compromise. I look at marriage, especially me and my wife's marriage. I look at it as a tug of war, or a game of chess. Like she'll make a move, okay, I see it. So then I'll make my move. Or when she pulls the rope, I need to give a little bit. When I pull, she gives a little bit, and that's how you make it work.
I love that. And I believe that these gems are going to help somebody today. The people who want to learn something, they're going to learn something. The people that want to find fault in it, they're going to find fault in it. But 19 years is commendable. 19
Yep.
years is commendable. And we love that for the Black community because divorce is at a very high rate right now. Black relationships are getting divorced. And so to see a couple that's together
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing. Before you
Thank
get out of here, I need you to plug your book. Tell us what we need to know about your book, where to find your book, everything about you and your book. Let's go.
All right. Well, my website, you guys can go to my website. My email, my business number is there. It's up from ashes. Biz. B as in boy, IZ as in zebra, short for business. And then you can go on Amazon.com. All you have to do to make it simple, put my name in there. LARD as in David, ELLSPRATT, Lardell Spratt. And you search that, my books will pop right up. Some exciting things coming in the future. Doc, I'm calling you Doc now because I'm claiming that, right? But I should be. I've been nominated to receive. That's two ways you can get a doctorate:
An
academic,
honorary doctoral.
academic, and your experience. So I've been nominated to receive honorary doctorate degree soon. So hopefully that pans out. But I have another book. I'm gonna tell you this one. Ooh, it's gonna be powerful, powerful, powerful. So keep your eye out on that.
Well, I am so happy to have you here on the Verdict Podcast. I hope you had a great time. I've learned so many things. First of all, I learned black men don't always cheat. So clap it up for that. That was
Thank
such
you.
a new and a
Thank
great
you.
thing to hear. And I'm so happy about your experience, how you have completely turned your life around. You know, they claim that there's not a lot of black good men out here, but I'm looking at one. I got one. And so because of that, I want to say thank you so much. Y'all already know what it is. It is the Verdict Podcast. When the judge is in, the verdict is out. Until next time, y'all tell the truth.
Peace.